Okay, this is how to draw the Lewis structure of NO, the molecule NO. So the first thing we have to do is count up the number of valence electrons. So the nitrogen has 5 and the oxygen has 6, so altogether that's 11 valence electrons. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is connect these atoms together using single bonds. It's pretty trivial in this case, there's only one way to do it, which is with a single bond between the nitrogen and the oxygen. So now remember, a single bond counts as 2 electrons, so we've used up 2 valence electrons so far in this diagram. We've got 11 to play with, so that means we've got 9 more electrons that we need to add to this structure as lone pairs. So you start with the more electronegative atoms first. We can put on 6 electrons there, and that gives us another, so we've used up 2, 4, 6, 8, we've got another 3 valence electrons to go, so we'll do it like that. And you notice that we need to have one unpaired electron because we have an odd number of valence electrons here. Okay, now we need to see, we need to minimize these formal charges. So remember, the formal charge on an atom is its valency minus the number of electrons that belong to it in a Lewis structure. So we'll look at the oxygen first. The valency of oxygen is 6. And so I'll write the 6 over here, and the number of electrons that belong to it in this structure as drawn is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So for this accounting purposes, when you're doing formal charges, you only count one of the 2 electrons in a bond. So this oxygen, the number of electrons that belong to this oxygen atom is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the formal charge on the oxygen in this structure is -1. Now let's do the nitrogen. We've got the valency of nitrogen is 5, and then the number of electrons that belong to it in this structure is 1, 2, 3, 4. So the formal charge on nitrogen is +1. So we have formal charges of +1, -1 and +1. So we can get these closer to 0 by moving one of these lone pairs in to make a double bond. So if I move one of those lone pairs in to make a double bond, we get this structure. I've got a double bond now, only 2 lone pairs around the oxygen, and now this is unchanged around the nitrogen. So let's look at our formal charges now. The valency of oxygen is 6, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 electrons belonging to it. Formal charge of 0. The nitrogen formal charge is, the valency is 5 minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Electrons which belong to it in this structure, so also a formal charge of 0. So we've got both these atoms to have a formal charge of 0, and so this is the final Lewis structure. That's it.